we're getting into the grandparent stage. We have 28 grandchildren and 3 greats. 2 girls and a boy for the greats, don't we? I think we're out of grandchildren there. At least our kids say they're not going to have any more, but we'll see. We'll see. The kids are all doing great, and everybody's doing well. No change in Leslie and Doug. Anyway, they're doing great. Have 2 daughters and some grandchildren. And Leslie's doing fine. She sells dental supplies to all the dentists on the Wasatch Front. Is doing very, very well. And he teaches school. Brad, our oldest son, moved from Kaysville, from about a mile away from us, down to Mapleton when he opened a new hospital in Springville. What do they call it? Behavioral hospital for teenage kids that are on drugs and alcohol and have behavioral problems, from 12 through 17. And he opened this 228-bed hospital that he designed and built, along with help of 3 partners. It was a $7 million project. It's a beautiful school. You can see it from the freeway. It's about a mile east of the freeway on the second turnoff to Springville. And it has a gymnasium that's as big as a high school gym, and these little...
Residential?
It's residential, yeah. They lock them up at night and things like that. But he's been in this business for 25 years, and he's very, very good at it and in great demand. But he built this school, and they started in January, and he quit his job. Told him about, I think it was about June the previous year, and said that he was doing this and that he'd like to resign, and so they gave him chance to resign, and he did, and then went to work full-time for his own business. And they opened it in January, and they had, like I said, 128 beds, and they had about 28 of them filled by the 1st of February. And moving ahead, and then in May, the old company that he used to work for, the senior vice president of the old company, which HCA, I believe, came out and just made a friendly tour and wanted to talk to Brad, just a friendly tour of his new facility. He said he was just passing through Salt Lake and he had a couple of days to spend here, and so he'd sure like to see him again. And they were old buddies, so he showed him everything and told him about the hospital and how they were doing. And 2 weeks later, they made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, so he sold it. Yeah. That's been fun. Mike is still flying for Delta. Took a 47% pay cut, and then they took their pensions away from them. And now they're taking their medical away from all of us. He loves to fly. I ruined him, you know. And he says, well, flying's better than working for a living, so I think I'll stay and see what happens. And the Delta is making a comeback, as you know, and they ought to, after they're making the comeback on the pilots' backs, because they didn't take the pension plans away from anyone except pilots. So that gives you an idea of what they were trying to do and what they've tried to do and what they are doing. And Kay and I lost about 1/3 of our retirement in September, and then we lose our medical in January, don't we? But I'd forgotten that I had military medical, so we're okay. TRICARE for life kicks in, so that's fine. But it's kind of different to get, you know, when you're trying to make a 1/3 cut in your income. And I've been teaching up to Utah State, teaching aviation law. And this fall they called up and they said, we've got a new professor here and he's eager to load up his schedule because he wants tenure, and he'll be glad to teach that class if you'd like. And I says, hooray, hooray, I'm off today. Yes, you got it. And I was pleased because I really would like to retire and have free time just to do whatever I want to do. Jeff is next, and he's doing really well. He's flying Air Med, not helicopters. I raised him better than that, I want you to know. Anything where the wing moves faster than the fuselage, you need to have some question about that. But Jeff is flying for Air Med. He was Pilot of the year before last, and last year nearly, and really loves it and does extra time, and feels guilty about getting a paycheck for what he does. He likes it so much. Flies all over the western United States, single pilot, IFR, instrument flight rules, in snowstorms and ice and snow and everything, and just loves it, just eats it up. He's like a mountain climber, you know, that gets the high from climbing mountains, and he does that. And he climbs mountains too, and he skis, and he's really quite a guy. And they've got 3 little kids, a little boy that his name's Maxwell, and we call him Max, and he loves Grandpa and Grandma's place. But he's scared and afraid of everybody else in the world except Grandma and Grandpa and his mom and dad and his sisters.
How old is he?
He's just 2. He just turned 2.
That's why.
And that's normal, but his mother got quite upset last week when she brought him over, and then she went shopping for a little while and came back to get him, and he didn't want to go home. And he refused to go home. No, I'm at Grandpa's. You said I go to Grandpa's. I'm at Grandpa's. We stay here. And we'd had a lot of fun. We'd played trucks and all kinds of things. We have safaris, you know, we go out with the BB guns and go shooting, only he doesn't have a loaded gun. But he thinks he's shooting, you know. And, yeah, well, we shoot hippopotamus and giraffe and elephants and sometimes rhinoceroses, and, you know, we can find almost any animal you want up there if you got a good enough imagination. So we have a lot of fun. But when he went out to get in the car, I finally persuaded him to go home with his mother. And she said he wouldn't talk to her for about 3 hours. He was just incensed that she came to get him. So that's a lot of fun. We enjoy that. Things have gone very well for us. Case had some health problems, had a new eardrum 2 weeks ago. And then last week was turned down for a big insurance policy we're trying to get. We're trying to get a second to die policy. And I thought I'd be the one that they would turn us down on because I'm so overweight and underworked and diabetes and everything, but I passed with flying colors and she flunked. And so, well, because of a kidney problem. They don't know what it is yet, and she's going to do a battery of tests next week. And we hope it's nothing serious. But if it is serious, we want you to know that all of you would be eligible for donors, and we'd come and see you. We don't, yeah, we wouldn't be any relation. So anyway, that's kind of been a concern for us. We motorhomed up to Star Valley, bought a place up there to park our motorhome on with some dear friends, Gary Woodruff and some other people, and we spent 45 days up that way last year. It's only about 3.5 hour drive, and so we'll come home weekends a lot and then go back up, and we really enjoyed the summer up there where it was cooler. But Kay missed the grandchildren, so I don't know if we'll spend that much time up there, but we enjoy it. And then we spend winters. We leave in January, about the 5th of January, and go down to El Centro for a month with friends. And we stay about 3 miles away from the El Centro Naval Air Station where the Blue Angels practice. We get to watch them practice every day and go over and have lunch with them, and I know some of their dads, and so they invited me to speak at a luncheon thing, and that was really hot stuff, and I enjoyed it. Kay likes to go too because they're handsome, daring young men. And she remembers my youth, I think. Anyway, it's kind of fun, and we spent about a month and a half there in a RV resort with a great big swimming pool and shuffleboard and bingo and all that stuff. I don't do any of that. But Kay went to bingo one night and won. I told her it was gambling and I didn't want any of that money in my motorhome. So she spent it.
I heard that.
But we have a lot of fun with these friends from Kaysville. And then we go over to San Diego, and we go about 2 miles south of the El Coronado Hotel. There's a Naval Officers Yacht Club, the Naval Yacht Club for that area. But the yachters don't yacht until about May, and so the RV spots are open, and so we spend 2 or 3 weeks there. And then work our way up the coast. And Kay's mother had a stroke about halfway home last time, so we made a direct trip home and flew Kay home, and she's over her stroke. She's 91 years old, and she's back home living alone and doing well. She doesn't drive, but she does everything else and takes care of everything, and Kay pays her bills, and that's about all. And she's quite a gal, and we really enjoy her, but we spend a lot of time with her, and Kay does too. We've had a great year. It's been really interesting with Delta's ups and downs and everything. It's been kind of fun to hear from all my old pilots, all my old buddies. They call up and say, "What are you going to do about this?" And what are you going to do about it? I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it, you know, there's nothing we can do. Church, I teach gospel doctrine, and Kay teaches in the Relief Society. Let's see, what else? I've done about 19 or 20 sealings this year, and about 16 or 17 speaking assignments. So we still keep our hand in that. So we're busy and life's good. Life's very good. We're grateful it is. You're next, neighbor.